6:15. This is a Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Lavani Vijayatunga. First, we take a look at the headlines. The travel restrictions which were imposed on several African countries will be lifted from January. The spiritual leader of the Bora community meets the president. Defense Secretary emphasizes that religious extremism could be defeated through the exchange of intelligence information with the friendly countries. Preliminary measures are being taken to conduct the local government elections. And in news overseas, more than 50 feared dead in Kentucky's worst ever tornadoes. Those are the headlines, and now more to the details of the local news. Travel restrictions which were imposed on several South African countries will be removed with effect from 1st January next year. A PCR test which was obtained before 72 hours should be submitted for the tourists over the age of 12. If any traveller has contracted COVID-19 during the last 3 months, he or she should carry a negative COVID-19 rapid antigen test report done within 48 hours before the embarkation. They should also carry some verifiable evidence such as a diagnostic card, positive rapid antigen test report issued in English to prove his or her history of COVID-19 infection. A meeting between the leader of the Bora community, Sayyidina Mufdal Saifuddin Sahib, and President Gotabaya Rajapaksa took place at the president's private residence in Mirihana this morning. He praised the government's COVID-19 control program and said that he looks forward to the development of Sri Lanka. President Rajapaksa thanked the Bora community leader for his contribution made to the Itukama COVID-19 fund and appreciated the contribution made by the Bora community to the Sri Lankan economy through investment and trade. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
A range of unmatched benefits with People's Credit Cards from People's Bank.
And we continue with more local news. Defense Secretary General Kamal Gunaratne says it will help to defeat the religious extremism through the exchanging of intelligence information between the friendly countries. He also stated that it is important to monitor regional security in order to prevent the possible threat that can occur. It is sad to see that some parties are trying to ruin the peace established in the country. He made these remarks while participating at the 15th graduation ceremony of the Defence Services Command and Staff College. Graduation certificates have been awarded to 145 Tri-Forces officials. The ceremony in this regard was held at the Nelumpokona Theatre. The provincial government of Pakistan's Punjab region has decided to conduct the trial pertaining to the mob lynching of Priyantha Kumara, a Sri Lankan factory manager, in Sialkot on a daily basis. This was decided in a meeting of the Provincial Cabinet Committee on Law and Order presided over by the Law Minister Mahmood Bashrath Raja. The committee directed the investigators to file the case in the court within 14 days. The prosecution was also directed to set up a special cell to monitor the case trial. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. The travel restrictions which were imposed on several African countries will be lifted from January. The spiritual leader of the Bora community meets the president. Defense Secretary emphasizes that religious extremism can be defeated through the exchange of intelligence information with the friendly countries. Preliminary measures are being taken to conduct the local government elections. And that was the local news.
A range of unmatched benefits with People's Credit Cards from People's Bank. Discounts up to 60% and interest-free installment plans from selected merchants.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The main news story for this evening, Commissioner General of Elections Saman Sri Ratnayaka says preliminary measures are being taken to conduct the forthcoming local government elections. He said a program to brief the District Deputy Election Commissioners, Assistant Election Commissioners and the District Election Officials in this regard will be conducted soon. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission.
And in Washington this evening, the water supply for several areas will be suspended tomorrow due to an essential maintenance work of the pipeline from Malimbada water treatment plant to Diagaha water tank. The water cut will be imposed for 8 hours from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m., the National Water Supply and Drainage Board said. Accordingly, Diagaha, Kakunidura, Viherahena, Gandhara Kotegoda, Kudavella, Dikwalla and Rathmale areas will be affected by the said water cut. And that came to you in Watchlight.
Be aware before you follow any vocational course. When you select a training institute, check and verify its registration and course accreditation by Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission (TVEC) without wasting your valuable time and money. Visit and meet skills development officers or career guidance practitioners. Visit www.tvec.gov.lk for more information. Message from Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission.
Coming up, World News.
Headlines of the world news: more than 50 feared dead in Kentucky's worst ever tornadoes. Japan's response to boycott under review. Palestinians vote in local elections amidst rising anger with Abbas. Those are the headlines, and now we move on to the details of the world news. The governor of the U.S. state of Kentucky has warned that more than 50 people are thought to have been killed by tornadoes overnight. Andy Beshear said that the figures could rise to as many as 100 in what he called the worst tornadoes in the state's history. He said the number was probably closer to somewhere between 70 and 100, and it is devastating. Tornadoes are wreaking havoc across several U.S. states, with workers trapped in the Amazon warehouse in Illinois. One person also died and 20 people were trapped inside Arkansas nursing home after it partly collapsed, Craighead County Judge Marvin Day told the Associated Press. A senior official of the Japan's ruling Liberal Democratic Party says that the government will take into consideration the level of the delegation sent to China to Tokyo Olympics in deciding about the possibly joining a diplomatic boycott of the upcoming Beijing Games. The administration of U.S. President Joe Biden has announced a diplomatic boycott of the 2022 Games. Australia, Britain and Canada have followed suit. The Japanese government is reportedly leaning towards not sending cabinet ministers. It plans to make final decision as early as the end of the year. Palestinians held municipal elections in the Israeli-occupied West Bank today in a rare democratic exercise and amid rising anger with President Mahmoud Abbas after he cancelled planned legislative and presidential votes earlier this year. More than 400,000 Palestinians were eligible to cast the ballots for the representatives in 154 village councils in the West Bank, where Abbas's Palestinian Authority has limited self-rule. Municipal votes are typically held every 4 to 5 years. Municipal elections are not being held in Gaza, whose Islamist rulers Hamas are boycotting the vote amid a rift with Abbas' Fatah party. And to conclude the world news, the headlines once again. More than 50 feared dead in Kentucky's worst ever tornadoes. Japan's response to boycott under review. Palestinians vote in local elections amidst rising anger with Abbas. And that was the world news.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take all out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Moving on to development news, Minister Ramesh Patharana says that the new water supply connection to 10,000 people in the Galle district have been provided during the past period. He made these remarks while participating at a media briefing on implementing the third stage of the Mahagalla water supply scheme. He also stated that 120 million rupees has been spent for the transportation of water tanks needed for the scheme. And that came to you in the segment of development news.
Development News was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Moving on with sports news.
In cricket news, the match between Goa Gladiators and Kandy Warriors of the LPL tournament is being held at the Colombo R. Premadasa Stadium. Batting first, Goa Gladiators scored 127 runs for the loss of 7 wickets at the end of their 20 overs. Kandy Warriors had scored 82 runs for the loss of 4 wickets at the end of their 12th over a short while ago. That was the sports news. Business news coming up.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to September 30th, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency through NSB U Trust for 6 months consecutively. Send more money and increase the chances of winning.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
In business news, Commissioner of the Sri Lanka Tea Board, Gayantha Edrasinghe, says that the quality of the Sri Lankan tea exported currently prevails at 50%, although the quality of the tea exported by the other countries is maintained at 75%. The cause for this situation is receiving of lower quality tea tenders to the factories. That was the business news, and economic news follows.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
And in economic news, the port of Colombo is the best connected port in South Asia, according to the annual report of the Maritime Transport Review released by the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, for the year 2021. According to the Liner Shipping Connectivity Index, LSCI, the port level, 8 of the top 10 are in Asia, led by Shanghai, and the remaining 2 are in Europe, Rotterdam and Antwerp. The best connected port in Latin America and the Caribbean was Cartagena, Colombia, and in South Asia, it was Colombo. That was economic news, and the weather report to conclude.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
The weather report.
Finally, the weather report. The Met Department says the showery condition in the northern, north central, eastern and over provinces and the Hambantota district is expected to enhance to some extent from tomorrow evening. Showers will occur at times in the eastern and over provinces and in the Hambantota and Mathale districts. Fairly heavy falls above 50 millimeters can be expected at some places in these areas. Several spells of showers will occur in the northern and north central provinces. Showers or thunder showers will occur at a few places in the western and Sabaragamu provinces and in the Kandy, Nure Eliya, Gaul and Mathura districts during the evening or night. And before we conclude this bulletin of news, let's get back to the headlines once again. The travel restriction, which was imposed on several African countries, will be lifted from January. The spiritual leader of the Bora community meets the president. Defense Secretary emphasizes that the religious extremism could be defeated through the exchange of intelligence information with the friendly countries. Preliminary measures are being taken to conduct the local government elections.